Accept. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Grace, Peace, and Balance radio show or podcast by Gabi Abdelkadir. I hope everyone is being safe and you've been taking care of yourselves and you've been enjoying the warm weather. Today, I have a special guest for you. Her name is Erika Aguilar. And I will read you a short bio. She is a lot more than what her bio is saying, because you have to get to know her. She is a woman of value, a woman of principle, of a lot of things about her, but I'm going to just give you a brief idea of who she is. Erika Aguilar is a business strategy coach and a best-selling author with a background in finance and working in the corporate environment for 10 years. And with her love for languages and cultures, it was just a matter of time that she started her own business, as well as joined the business with her husband. This is what she says: being an entrepreneur and a mom has taught me compassion for my clients and my team. It is important to understand priorities, adversities, and urgencies. I believe when people are ready, I like that, they are unstoppable. We teach that to our children and it applies in business as well. Erika is a wife and a mom of two gorgeous boys. And I will be posting her bio and all her social media, her contact links on Podbean as well as on YouTube. So, Erika, welcome to my podcast, lovely.
Oh, thank you so much, Gabby. This is a pleasure for me to be here, really. And oh my God, that introduction.
Yeah,
Great.
honestly, it doesn't even give you enough credit, because I know who you are. This does not give you enough credit, but people need to get to know you, right? They need to get in touch with you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, tell me a little bit about uh, growing up, just a little bit, like what you were like and how you came to Canada, and where were
Yes,
you before Canada? Yeah, just
right.
yeah.
Absolutely, that's great. So I grew up in Lima, in Peru. I'm Peruvian. My parents are Peruvian in the capital of Lima, which is a very crowded city. And I am the oldest of four. Now,
Mhm.
my parents, like back in that time, they have kids back to back. So I immediately moved. And so when I started the school years, I moved with my grandparents. So pretty much I grew up around my grandparents, my uncles, my aunt, that also they were single at the time and they were young adults, which means that I was like very spoiled by them. However, everything had to do with they would always encourage me that about education. I was sent to a private school, and like I said, I spent a lot of time with my grandparents, with my uncles, my aunt, which I appreciate a lot. Everything on the help and support that they brought for me. And then I would spend the weekends back home with my brothers. So that was very a very hectic, a lot of traveling, commuting,
Yeah.
uh, growing up. So I learned a lot about the life in the city. I learned a lot about how people they do things differently,
Hmm.
and being Peru, and especially in the capital Lima, a place where social status or they're very defined. It
Hmm.
was a very interesting approach for me. That being said, is because we didn't have a lot growing up.
Hmm.
However, my parents, they managed with the help of some relative that would send me to a private school. So it was a big, in a way, huge expectations from my part for what I will be in life.
Yeah.
Being the only girl as well, my parents understood from since I was very young that women didn't have a lot of opportunities back
Yes.
home,
Yeah.
right? Things have changed a lot. Trust me. I have friends who are my age, cousins who are my age, women that are extremely successful, and that is fantastic. But when I was a kid, they could not even see that ever happening. So
Yeah.
this is why pretty much they invested in my education.
Yeah.
That's
Cool. And then when did you come to Canada?
so how did it happen? Well,
Uh-huh.
this is what happened. Situations in places like Peru, they are not stable. Politics are not stable. Economy is not stable at all. So in the 90s, there was a lot of insecurities. I maybe have been in private education, high school, and everything. It was very difficult to decide to go to university. So the opportunity came that I could move to the States. I have relatives there, and that's exactly what I did. I turned 21 and pretty much was ready. I went there. I went to a community college in the States. I was working. I spent there about, I would say, 5, 6, 7 years, and then moved to Canada. So I've been to many different places. When I moved to Canada, though, I will tell you, right now I live in the area of in Ontario, in Burlington. When I moved to Canada, I moved to Quebec City. Now, no, sorry, it's Quebec, the province, but in Montreal. So they speak French there. So now we're talking about that. I'm somebody who learning and studying, it was always a priority in my life growing up.
Good job.
So when I moved to the States, even though I already knew a little bit of English, I continued studying, working and studying at the same time. When I moved to Canada and in the area of Montreal, that's where, like, I said, okay, well, you know what? I can find a job, I can do certain things, but the language is very important. So put myself back into learning something. And and through my years, it have been different things that I have done. A lot of things has to do with executive assistant, working in offices, working in different environments, industries. And one thing that I really appreciate is that people were very helpful because they knew my interest in learning the language, right? And this is how now I live in Ontario, like I said, and it's been about 9 years. And
9 years here. Okay,
yeah.
so was it because you speak Spanish, was French a little easier for you than it would have been to other people? It's because there is a lot of words.
Well, I will tell you something, okay? I'm learning another language now. So
Uh-oh.
I know I'm learning Italian, but I will tell you something. Eh, It was perhaps, I will understand it because of the structure of the language,
Yeah,
but it's definitely a different language. It's
it's
not,
really, it
yeah.
doesn't help. Being Spanish speaking did not help with the French, no?
I will tell you, I know French now, I know Spanish, and it's not helping learning Italian.
No, really? Oh,
I mean, perhaps it does. It's just that I love languages and I know that I will learn. I take my time to it. I
yeah,
really do what it takes, like
yeah.
the things that I'm doing to learn Italian, they're like, wow.
Yeah, I know, I know. I think that would be an easy language for me because I grew up, my mom was, her second language was Italian. So
Oh,
when she got upset, that is the only language she spoke, so that I think me and my brother wouldn't understand when she was really mad, she's swearing or whatever. And it was all Italian. Could talk like 100 words a minute when she was upset. And and then the first 6 years of my life, I grew up in a Catholic school where all my teachers were Italian, which is where I picked up this accent in a way. Yeah, they were nuns, right? They were Italian nuns.
right.
And while I don't have great memories with them because I got a lot of beating from them growing up, but you can't really gossip in front of me in Italian. I can catch. I just understand. Maybe not fluent. I don't speak it, but I can
But you can
understand.
understand.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I can understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think that's the thing with language, if we talk a little bit about it, because when we went to Italy in Milan, I could understand, I could have an idea what they were talking about when they were asking us something. We would drive to tiny towns where people, that's all they would speak Italian.
Hmm.
And I was able to put it together. I will speak in Spanish very slow. They would talk to me in Italian very slow. We were able to communicate.
Yeah, see, that's what I
We
was
were-
talking about. Spanish,
That's
a
the
little
thing.
bit, it helps. Yeah.
Yeah.
Being a Spanish
So,
speaking, it helps. Yeah.
yes.
Excellent. So talk to me. And then you
And then
decided to become an entrepreneur. Is it before you had the kids or after you had the kids you decided to become like an independent business owner?
even though I will tell you something, when I was living in Montreal, and I was working at immigration office, lawyer office. I was doing freelance for interpreter or translator with immigration as well. I also kind of opened a small business.
Yeah.
Sorry. I wish I was cleaning houses, and I have a couple of people who were helping me. So I didn't even know that was a business. I would just tell people, hey, do you have time? Because I have more houses. And I will be doing that like 2 days a week. So that's where I think my curiosity for entrepreneur started, because I realized that you can create something where you will decide your hours, where people will have the direct contact with you, and then you will find, in a way, you have that pride for what you offer, the service that you offer. However, it was always, and because again, the way I was raised when I was growing up, that the idea that I have in my head, right, that being a successful professional, you have your office, right, like in the world of business, that is what success was defined as when I was growing up.
Yeah.
So that's how I got into the corporate, like really building a career and getting to grow whatever was presented in front of me. I would want to get it. I would want to be there. So then my husband, when the kids were about 2 years old, his job position was eliminated, and his job is specific to what he was doing in the province. There was only 3-4 people who would do that. So an opportunity presented for him to come to Ontario. Now, physically, it was not possible that I will do the same job if I will be transferred to the office in Ontario from Montreal.
Yeah.
Because he is somebody, since before we got married, I always knew when we met, I knew that he would travel all the time for work, and that was fine. Like some people will tell me, how can you have a relationship? I'm like, you know what? We are both very independent. We're both very mental independent, I think. And we do very well the way that our relationship goes, obviously. So I knew that physically I couldn't like drop off the kids at a daycare, go all the way to downtown, work, and then come back and pick up the kids from the daycare. I will not have the time, enough hours in the day to do that, because the daycare opens and closes a certain hour. So that's where I start looking for other options. That's where, and I will say that when the opportunity presented to me, I was so ready. I just wanted to do something else. That's when the business mind kicked in. It's almost like immediate, that it was one part of me that said, this is what I have to do. And the other part, which it was a big 50-50, the other part was, how could I just abandon my career? How could I just like not try it again? Because I was still trying. I was trying to get the company to let me work from home back then. Can you imagine?
I know, it was not a possibility.
They were like, what do you mean? Nobody can do that. I'm like, yeah, I think they could. I think I could. But that was the reality back then. And I'm talking about, like I said, 8 years ago. So when that happened, and this is what comes when I said, when people are ready, they're unstoppable. So I just took that opportunity and I just went with it and didn't stop since. Since that time, a lot of things have changed, developed different business. And like you mentioned, we have a business together in finance. And I still have other businesses by myself. And so that's how everything like developed. It was not immediate. It was not, okay, from here to there. I really, really have a lot of compassion. I really have a lot of understanding for women and men in general who have that behind their back, their corporate career, their wall, that, because it is part of you. And it doesn't start just when you got the job. A lot of times it comes from when you are growing up, from the beliefs, or this is what success looks like.
Mindset,
That's so this is why I know that it's a lot of shifting on your mindset that it comes with it when you become an entrepreneur. Which is so that's why Strategies are very important. And for that, I will tell you, my husband Pierre, he's very good on that. So we're pretty much complement our
Each
ideas.
other, yeah.
Yes, and that's how we come out with the final result of the product, right?
Product, yeah. So how many, ever since you started slowly switching to entrepreneurship, how long did it take you before you really became successful?
Well, like I said, because it was with a network marketing company,
Yeah.
and there are systems in place, there are already things that they are built, I didn't question it. I have to say that. I didn't question it. I didn't doubt it. I just went for it. Just like when I arrived to Montreal and I turned around and I realized people don't speak English here, and I have to learn this language, because that was a reality. I never knew before coming to Canada that people didn't speak English. Well, they speak English, but the people will speak French in some areas.
Yeah.
I just didn't know that because it was not in my radar to know that. I just knew Canada, but then that happened. So in the same way, it was the same, I will say, mindset that when I joined a network marketing company with systems in place, with already a program built, and that's what I did.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
Yes.
But that was one part of it, because don't forget, we develop other businesses that it has nothing to do. So we have to start from zero in a way, right?
Yeah.
And again, a lot of personal development is involved.
Yeah.
A lot of it. Investment, of course, it is. Time, it's different in time, because then it required for me also to take time off evenings or weekends to run my business.
Yeah.
And it was a shift on the family, the dynamic that we have. So both of us will compensate. So it was, and that it has to be accompanied with personal development, because I understand that it's not immediate, but at the same time, when you make a decision, then you realize, oh, I have to be away on the weekend. What are my kids gonna eat? So it is a lot of communication that it takes place. It's a lot of, so I really will tell you that it takes, we say it takes a village to raise a child.
Oh
But
my goodness.
for a mom to go into business, it takes the whole world.
I know.
Because it's a lot. But you know what? It's all about how ready you are, how committed you could be in that moment, and mostly willingness. It's a big part as well.
Yeah. Can you imagine, now we're talking about this, can you imagine right now, Erika, like people who have 3, 4 kids, the schools are closed. So they have to study at home. So each one of them is sitting with a laptop and they're going different grades and different classes, right? And then you have a business that you have to run. And then because you're working from home too, right? And then you have to worry about the breakfast. And then during their breaks, you need to get their snacks. And then you have to worry about lunch and then another snack and then dinner. So it's like, if you don't have a great time management tool, it can be very stressful. I know a lot of women that are really stressed.
I'm telling you, like, you know what? I remember when my kids were perhaps in grade 1 when I start my first business. And I remember I was always like a stay-home mom. I will go to all the activities, the school need volunteers, and I love volunteering. The school will need volunteers, I will be there. I could afford to do that. I could timely. I could afford to do it because I have the time for it. I love doing it, all these things. But at the same time, I was working. And I remember once there was some lady who asked me this, another mom of another kid says, so when do you actually do the work? I said, you know what? My job is anytime when my clients are available. Unfortunately, I allow my clients to decide for me the timing and back then, right? And that was a training for me, a training, because my kids will come home from school. I will pick them up from school, and perhaps 2 hours later, I had a meeting, I had somewhere to be. And sometimes my husband wasn't home, he was away on a trip.
Oh my
So I
goodness.
will either bring them with me, or I will either get a babysitter to stay with them, or clients will come over because I have a space designated in my house for my client.
Yeah,
Clients will come over, and at the same time, I have a babysitter in the basement or outside with them.
yeah.
So to organize all that, when people would look at it, it was just like I was the mom who always volunteer, and it's always everywhere.
It's always everywhere. Yeah, but
So when this happened in March last year, and I have many friends and moms of the school that after a while we become friends, right? My kid's now in grade 7, and I remember that desperation because we started doing like a Zoom every week to see how everybody's doing. And I listening to them, I would be like, wow, I didn't really feel that much of a difference other than, and this is what it's all about strategy. So listen to this, what we did. We put a camera in front of their area where they're supposed to be studying. So all
yeah,
that I have to do, if for any reason I know the schedule when they're supposed to be, I just check, okay, they're in their they're sitting down because they have like 20 minutes in between,
yeah,
and kids are kids. You cannot trust that, and I don't have time to
yeah,
go every hour to tell them, hey, it's time to go back into the computer. So it's all about like planning and scheduling. It's all about but it's true that I was perhaps a little bit ahead, a little bit ready because
yeah,
of all the things. If my husband, his Pierre, was not traveling, it wouldn't be a different experience for me because he would just stay home with it. But can you imagine? I have 3 babysitters on call. I have no choice because I was building a business,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So if one was not available, sometimes it was last minute, then the next one. And there will be people that I trust,
yeah,
obviously,
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
And if they were not available, they will come with me. So how do you bring 2 7-year-old to somebody else's home and
I
you
know.
go? So
Oh
a
my
lot of
God.
negotiation. I
Yeah.
think they're very good negotiators by
Oh, my experience. I know. Oh
that was
God.
an opportunity to learn that.
Yeah,
So I think it can, everything, whatever is presented in front of us, I find, and I always say, it's an opportunity. It's never easy. It's never smooth. It's never, oh yeah, it looks so easy for you. No, it's the opposite.
yeah,
It's really, it takes, and trust me, I know what is overwhelming. I know what it is. Like, you know what? You just don't want to do anything. I remember how many times I would say, I wish I can just sleep for one day
yeah.
without, like, what is it like? What is it like not having to get up,
I know.
right?
Not having to get up in the morning. Yeah.
And I remember back then it was like that. So you know what I did? Very early, my kids learned how to make their lunches, how to
Uh-huh.
cook.
Okay.
Because at least on the weekends, the first time that they started doing that, you know what? I'm like, oh my God, I can't take an extra hour or 2 hours. So that means that I work late at the evening. So it's all about when you're working from home, when you're a mompreneur,
Yeah.
if you're a mompreneur, you are still being a mom, an entrepreneur at the same time.
Yes. Yeah.
So you gotta include your children into the
Hmm.
business.
Yeah.
Everything counts. Everything
Yeah.
counts.
Yeah.
My kids are completely disconnected to what is the business itself.
Hmm.
However, the fact that they're independent, the fact that they can do things, the fact that they see a box arriving with products and they tell me that the box cannot stay outside for all day. So
Yeah.
they are participating in that way. They're
Yeah.
included because they're growing
Yeah. They're
within the
growing.
business.
Yeah. They're in grade 7 now, you said, right? Yeah.
Yeah, grade
Yeah.
7. So you know
Yeah.
what? For them, this things when they see me on a Zoom. Okay, this is another thing because when we start doing a lot more Zoom calls and everything is virtual, like right now we are doing, they know to just stay or just look at me and walk away. And I find very funny when people they share their video when the kids just jump or they, you know what I mean, and the noise is
Yeah.
around. But the reason why they will do, and trust me, my kids have been like making noise and fighting sometimes because they're very wild when I'm in a call, right? But the thing is that it was more automatic for them because they knew when mom was busy. They knew when dad is busy
Yeah.
because they have seen us working from home for many,
Over a year,
yeah,
for a
few
lot of
years.
times, but now even
Yeah.
more than ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I totally understand how overwhelming it is. I totally understand how people feel that how do I manage, because it takes time to get to build that type of
To build that type, yeah, and be
yes.
disciplined and have a strategy. And this,
Oh
so when do
yes.
you, so I have two questions for you for now. One, when do you ever make time just for Erika, for you, just for you, like a
Oh,
quiet time?
oh, it's in my calendar.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay, so what, how is that? Like,
Well, I will tell you something.
uh-huh.
What is my time? It's my workout time. My time is when I take a nap. Sometimes people they say, "How are you up at 5:30 in the morning?" And I saw you still sending messages at midnight, because I do schedule my nap. I do a schedule. Now we're not traveling. Now we're not doing. But I will tell you, when we travel, it will be also time that, so this is
Yeah,
something that I was not consistent as I am right now, a little bit more consistent. I take my time for reading. I join like a book club. Right now we're reading this, which I love, John Maxwell. So I
which
will,
one,
those little things
which one from John
jump
Maxwell?
jumpstart your priorities
Okay,
wherein they do.
yeah, I love
So,
John Maxwell.
so
Okay.
that, yes, so that will tell you that anything, when sometimes my client will ask me, because I'm still in the business, that making ladies feel wonderful from the inside out to
Mm-hmm.
project that, right? So then I will say everybody's different in sense of your time.
Yeah.
And to me, it's like I need to sleep, I need to rest. That's what it is. I
Mm-hmm.
need the
Yeah.
resting time. I feel good when I work out. I also love to be part of something. I like that. Some other people they say, "Oh, too many meetings, too many days." I said, "I like that. I like that type of uh, community connection." So this
Yeah.
is why I do the book club, right?
Yeah.
So I will say that, and at the same time, you know what else I really like, and it is for me, and I realize that it's for me because my kids actually told me that we plan movie night.
Okay,
And
nice. Yeah.
it used to be once a week, now it's every 2 weeks. And why is it my time? Because it's time when I really feel that we're talking about something, even if we're just watching the movie, the connection, and to see them. I mean, they're twins and they already have their own little world, right?
Yeah.
So for me to see that, it is for me.
Mm-hmm.
Once they didn't wanna, oh, tomorrow we'll do movie night. Finally, it was like the following week, and they were like, anyways, it's for you, it's not for us. I said, well, it is. They enjoy it. They definitely enjoy it. They're like, okay, mommy, do we make the popcorn or you make it? So I would consider, even that, I would consider my
My
time
time, yeah.
that way.
Especially
Yes.
if you're watching. Okay, the second thing is, for you said like you had to have read a lot of books or followed a lot of leaders for you when it comes to changing your mindset. What books inspired you, or who from the leaders inspired you?
I will say that before even like reading a whole book, because I
Mm-hmm.
will be very, very honest, I'm
Mm-hmm.
one of those people, and I know that I'm not the only one who are reading 7 books at the same time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And some people maybe you don't understand the concept, but I will tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
I don't read just one book. Sometimes I'm like, okay, here and there, and I have all my pages where I am. And before that, I was always curious about quotes. I was always curious about videos or people. Anybody will send me a link. I wanted to know more about this. TikTok when they started. I was always curious with everything that it was in align with what it is personal development, or align what it is your mindset, even without before knowing the concept of mindset, before knowing,
Mm-hmm.
because that those are things that I had, or many people also have growing up, but there was no name for it,
Mm-hmm.
when your
Yeah, those
parents tell
days,
you.
yeah.
So but now we know, and this is like your belief system and things like that. So but I will tell you, the book that it really changed a lot, it's Atomic Habits,
Okay.
because that put everything in order, all the ideas, all the things from here for there, the concepts.
Yeah.
You can have all that information, but until you really don't take the action, and to me, that's what it is the action that it makes a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely. So
so,
that's one.
so that's why for
Atomic
me that
Habits.
book,
Yeah.
yeah, that was
Excellent.
a very good book.
Yeah, it is. I
Mhm.
have read it and I used to be on his email list and I
Oh,
don't know what
you did
happened. And he
too?
used to have, yeah, so I changed my email and I lost
Mhm.
him and I lost a lot of others. Yeah, so that is absolutely amazing. And you're such an inspiration to
Oh,
mompreneurs, especially to all those who are struggling right now. I hope they listen, they watch this and they get inspired and they get organized like you said, you have everything in your calendar, rest time, reading time, nap time, and that works because then it will just ring here and remind you,
mhm.
okay, you need to take a break right now or read for about an hour or something like
Mhm.
that. So that is absolutely amazing. And any last word, any last advice for mompreneurs? Okay, no. I have to ask you a couple of questions before you give your last word. So this is a questions I ask everybody I interview. So if you had to visit 3 countries that you haven't visited already before you die, which countries would they be?
Which countries? For sure, China. I haven't been to China yet.
Okay, one.
That's for sure. Um, Other place that I wanted to go, it's
You've got 2 more.
yeah, I know. I'm just thinking, okay, only two. I definitely wanted to go to Alaska. No, it's not a country, but it's a region.
Yeah. Okay.
I definitely wanted to see that.
Okay.
And other country that I also wanted to go, I wanted to go to. I'm always being very curious about India, Bangladesh. I know it's not in the same area, but not. But being with the people, I wanted to see that
India.
because I have a feeling that it's like being in Peru with a different language that I
Yeah.
don't understand
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
So that part I really wanted to do.
Okay. So let's say India is your third one.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, because I
Yeah.
always wanted to go for a meditation retreat or something in India and or Colombia or Peru. If you, yeah, but it had to be like a spiritual retreat. This is
Yeah.
like one of my dreams to do,
Yeah.
like, and it has to be minimum 2 weeks for me to travel that far, right? It has to
Oh
be
yeah.
minimum, yeah. You come back, you're a renewed person, oh my God. Yeah,
Completely.
I'm just
Yeah.
closing my eyes now and just picturing myself somewhere because especially now with all this pandemic and all, God knows we need that. Yeah. So, okay. So one thing, if there is one dream that you would like to fulfill before you die, one dream, big
One.
dream that you have and you would like to fulfill before you die, what would it be?
Oh, that I have this idea that will travel with all my brothers and their families and
Hmm.
my family. I
Yeah.
just that is to me ultimate.
Okay. So
So
you want to
that
go to Peru, pick them up, and then go.
of yeah, or meet somewhere. It's just spending that time somewhere else that is not like you said, not in Peru or not here where we live, but that traveling experience.
Experience with all of them.
That's
Oh, that
yes,
is so sweet. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
yeah. I
Yeah.
know that's one of the immediate goals. Not
Ex-
no long term, medium term.
yeah. It will happen. Trust me. Like,
Mhm.
just leave it to the universe and before
Oh
you
yes,
know it, everything happens. So,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
Okay. So that was an amazing conversation. What is your last advice for struggling mompreneurs?
Oh wow. Well, you know what? I will say two things. One is gratitude, and the other one is belief. And I will say gratitude because you have no idea how your life can change when you start practicing gratitude. Live a life of gratitude.
Yes.
It's so much, and it goes like beyond that we can imagine. It's really because trust me, not everything is gonna happen the way we want it all the
Hmm.
time,
Yeah. No.
and but we still have to keep going.
Yeah.
Believe you can do it.
Yeah.
It's so easy. Like every other, I always said every other activity that I do, it's a sign that I have to stop this. But my belief, it was greater.
Yeah.
that I know that I can do it. I
Yeah.
know that I can
Faith.
do it.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Like for it's just having that faith, just grab that faith and don't let it go. Believe, and again, gratitude help a lot with that.
Yeah.
Gratitude with everything. You know what? I will tell you, my kids who put my pro when they were 5, 6 years old everywhere. I'm like, you know what? All right. What can I be grateful for? Hey, look, the clouds are beautiful. I'm grateful for the clouds. I'm not gonna be grateful for what the kids just did, for sure. But it's the mindset is like make it fun. You know what? I just bring myself back into that time when I started, and it's true that I question myself a lot. What did I do? What was I thinking? Like seriously, like, and I will look back 2, 3 years before that when I was aspiring to have the office, the career, and the whole thing. And then here I am starting a business that nobody wants to listen about.
Yeah.
So, but you know what? That's what I say, gratitude and believe in yourself. Trust me, it is worth it
It
every
is
single
worth
time.
it.
It is
Yeah.
worth it.
Yeah. And have a strategy, like you said. Yeah. Oh my God, it was
Oh,
such a
yeah.
pleasure having you. And I am sure we're going to do another one sometime soon. Yeah, we can
Oh
talk
my
about a
God.
different subject,
Oh, that would
because
be
you're good at
fantastic.
strategy and you're good at, network marketing. And I think a lot of people, they always hesitate about network marketing, and I would love us to talk about that another time. But thank you so much for being on my podcast. Thank you for being my guest.
Oh my God, Gabby, you have no idea how grateful I am really to be
Thank
here.
you.
Like you, when I listen to your podcast and all the people that you interview, like wow, that is fantastic. And now to be here, like seriously, thank you so much for the opportunity.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm looking forward to any other on other
On
time that
other
I have the
interviews. Yes, yes,
that I
we
have the
will.
chance to be here.
Yeah, we will do that. We will definitely do that. Okay, thank you so much. And everybody, I will be posting Erika's bio and her social media links. Please do get in touch with her. She's an extremely successful human being, a woman of integrity, and a woman of class. That's what I call her. I call her the classy lady. And you can learn a lot from her, in particular, mompreneur. So get in touch with her. I will be posting her bio and social media links. In the meantime, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and stay safe. Wishing you grace, peace, and balance. Take care.